Floated in, and it's headed into the net very, very early on. What a start.
You can see he had the ability to do something special, and that is special.
Suddenly the game has come to life.
Hello everyone and welcome to Oswestry, where it's match day 2 of the Inter-Services Under-23 Football Championship. After last week, the RAF picked up a great victory over the Royal Navy. It means they are in pole position for a title decider. The Army enter the tournament as champions, and it's all on the line. The Under-23 Inter-Services Football Championship, for a lot of these players tonight, it is the first taste of Inter-Services. You will witness future stars of Kentish Cups and senior Inter-Services here tonight, that is for sure.
On you.
Glory!
Oh!
What a save that is!
What a hit from the lad.
Oh, and it hit the crossbar, bounced down and gone away, and he couldn't get much closer to scoring than that.
Oh, they're struggling with this kid here. They're absolutely struggling with him.
Oh, he's inside. Brilliant chance for the RAF.
Good
And
save.
a good save. The rebound though.
Goal!
And the RAF take the lead. That is how it sends it back, and that is a massive final whistle for the RAF. Look at the celebrations. Their first win in this fixture since before the pandemic. So the RAF in the drive-in position for the championship today, a win and they will be champions. The pressure's on them, but the pressure's also on the Army, who are the reigning champions themselves. Let's get a word with both camps right now. So Keith Emerson, Army head coach this season. Look, you are the champions coming into this, and you did a great job last year winning that title, but the RAF have put themselves in a really strong position after last week. A lot of tension and a lot on the line today.
Yeah, definitely, and I think, look, we take these games from game to game. Last year was done and dusted. This is all about this season, and the RAF put a really good, strong performance in, the same way the Navy is, and we've just got to turn up and put a good, strong performance in from us, and the best team's going to win, and that's all we can ever ask for.
I suppose you're quite pleased with your selection. A lot of players from last year's camp have managed to stay with the team, and you're building this team ethos with a number of these key players as well.
Yeah, definitely, and I think when I first came into the group, we went through a really big change of players. We opened it up. We had about 60-odd players to start with last year. We narrowed that down to the group we took into the Inter-Services last year, and we didn't do too much similar stuff to this year. We've done exactly the same thing, a couple of talent ID camps where we give players the opportunity to narrow it down to where we are now. And fortunately, under-23s football, we had a very young squad last year, so now they're coming into their second year, and the majority of this group now will stay in for another year. So we're in a really good place from a development point of view. We've had the same kind of group of players now for 2 seasons, and then going into a 3rd season with them. So we're really happy with how we're going so far.
We saw in Havant last week the RAF have a particular attacking tactic, pace down the wings, wingers that I think when you were playing you wouldn't have liked playing against, that's for sure, with the pace they've got. How do you stop that from a defensive point of view?
I think like anything, we'll set up to get the best version out of us. We know what their threats are, and we've got to counter that, and that's the whole thing. It's a cat and mouse game between obviously me and Tom. Tom's going to be sitting there trying to work us out and how he's going to counteract that, and we'll do the same thing. So we have a plan of how we would like to play, and we just need our players to execute it, and then we'll see what happens.
Perfect, thank you very much, good luck. So Tom Richardson, head coach of the RAF today. Look, you put yourselves in the best position last week, a really great performance. You got the win away from home, and you are in a position that you can win the championship today. but a lot of these players have never really been in that pressure position. How do you keep them focused on doing their jobs today?
I think we just approached the game in the exact same way that we approached it last week. We set out to win the game, and that way we ensure that we win the in-service title. So that's what we've worked on all week, making sure that we could get into that position. We've got the advantage of having played and experienced an in-service fixture. Some of the Army players haven't had that, but they've also got the advantage from their perspective because they've seen us play, etc. So fingers crossed, we're in a good position, and we'll see where we're at the end of the day.
I mean, I'm glad you mentioned the Army. They are the champions, and they're the champions for a reason. A lot of their squad have managed to keep together from last year, so you will know a lot of these players. How do you stop certain key players? I'm thinking Buster Reed, for example.
We have concentrated on ourselves. We're aware of the talent within the Army. They've got a lot of good players. Got a good manager in Keith, who's very experienced himself as well. So we know that they're going to be well drilled, well disciplined, and they've got lots of good players to choose from. But we're very confident in our own ability to get the job done as well.
And I suppose it's only job half done, and that's the key message for the team, I guess.
That was the message from the final whistle last week. The guys were celebrating. You may have seen it on the footage, but I sort of got in there earlier and said we've not won anything yet. It was great to win the game, don't get me wrong, but the lads are fully focused on making sure we win the in-services this week.
Thank you, good luck. Big day in the world of forces football. Challengers versus champions, and a huge afternoon for RAF football as they embark on a potentially title-winning result. Rio Ward and George McCowie provided a real goal threat against the Navy last week. Pace, power, relentless running, and it stopped the senior service in Havant. If they can perform again, the RAF could be celebrating a first title at this level in 6 years. Standing in their way, the reigning champions from the British Army. Keith Emerson will be very pleased with his squad selection. A number of key players from the 2025 Triumph are involved. All eyes on goal machine Buster Reed. He scored in both matches in last year's tournament. So will it be Air Force Blue Delight or the champions keeping on the title fight? Let's find out. I'm joined on commentary by the RAF Football Development Manager, Alex Pratt. Thank you for joining me, Alex. And we've got a big day potentially for RAF football today.
Yeah, absolutely. Really looking forward to it. Comfortable performance, I would say, last week. Good to get a goal, clean sheet as well, and really looking forward to seeing what the potential is for today's match.
Well, we're expecting the teams out very shortly here at this lovely setup here in Oswestry, home of Welsh Giants, I suppose, the new Saints, kind of. It's a brilliant stadium with a very unoriginal name, by the way. The venue is nice and simple. We like to keep it simple. We're awaiting the teams very shortly. So let's just, while we've got a second, run through the two sets of players that are going to be on the field today. We'll start with the RAF, and for Tom Richardson, it's a really simple selection today. Why change a winning team? Just one change in the whole squad. On the bench, in comes Dylan Sadler for a change on the subs bench. But the starting lineup is exactly the same as the team that beat the Navy last week. And I mean, just to run through a couple of them. Matthew Laycock in goal, kept a clean sheet last week. If he keeps a clean sheet today, he'll be the first RAF under-23 goalkeeper to keep 2 clean sheets in 2 inter-services matches in 2 decades. The centre-back partnership, Ryan Mulligan and Brian Parfitt, were brilliant last week. They'll be hoping for the same again. You've got the tough tackling Jake Staunton in midfield as captain, and up front, well, Remzi Kilikazlan may not have been involved as much as he'd have liked against the Navy, but George McCowie certainly was. He's one to stop, and of course Rio Ward got the winning goal against the senior service. Moving on to the Army then, and as we said earlier, they managed to keep a number of key players involved this year from the 2025 Triumph, including up front number 9 Buster Reed, scored against the RAF last year, an absolute belter by the way, against the RAF last year, scored against the Navy too, was involved with UCAF at Kentish Cup, and we've seen him on our channel score goals. He could be the goal threat today. Alfie Rogers, captain, has experience at this level too, but a number of different names too. I want to mention the England brothers, Ben England and Rory England. We always like a brother partnership, and I think Declan Howe also has experience at this level. So a lot on the line. The players are just making us wait, build that tension a little bit more. So it means I can just say, if you are watching on Facebook or on YouTube, please do get involved. Already a couple of comments. Kobe Price Martin says, start Ben Griffiths. I'm afraid, Kobe, that Ben Griffiths is currently on the bench for the Army as a backup goalkeeper. Emma Staunton is wishing luck to Jake Staunton and the team. Melvin Chapman says, the best station in Europe. I'm assuming he means BFBS, but we'll take it. We'll take it. And someone is watching from Amsterdam. Please do let us know where you're watching from. Amsterdam's the leading winner at the moment. The further, the better. So, Alex, I know there's a lot of tension because it could be a massive afternoon for the RAF, but Tom Richardson said in his interview beforehand, job half done. Having to keep relaying that message is going to be key throughout the 90 minutes, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. I think the boys did a great job in the first game. It did start a little bit frantically, as you'd expect for the opening game of the inter-services, but we did settle into the play, and hopefully that opening day victory is just going to give the boys more confidence to go on and get the result here today.
Well, the rain is just starting to fall again here on the border of Wales and England. We are in England at a Welsh football club. It is a bit complicated. Please read the histories. It does get complicated, but we are in England. And this wet pitch is going to play into the hands of some speedy wingers. I'm sure the RAF will be pleased to hear that. But the Army have got some pace themselves. The Army have got some attacking talent too. And for them, coming into this, yes, they're champions, so there's pressure on them anyway, but doesn't it show the predicaments that inter-services sport in general can bring when you are the second match, that's your first game, you've seen the RAF and the Navy play in the first week, and yes, the RAF come here with all the momentum in the world, but the Army are just getting started.
Yeah, we were having this conversation off air, weren't we, about what the ideal sort of schedule is for these games, and I was saying that it's perfect for the RAF to start the opening day with a win and then follow up being the second game as well. But you also have that side where the Army have managed to sit on the sidelines and watch a game, potentially figure out some tactics, danger men, and how they might thwart them. So interesting predicament, but as a player myself, I'd always say best way is to get that win under your belt and go into the next game with momentum.
Well, it's a fixture that is packed full of goals. Last year's 3-1 victory for the Army, while a 3-1 scoreline looks comprehensive, actually it was way more dramatic than you think when the Army scored what was a last-minute goal to win the championship. Before that, I mean, look, oh, it's disappeared off me. There we go. 2-0 previously, 3-0 previously, as the wind blows my notes around, but we'll get through it. Lots of goals in these games between these two teams, and you do have a turnover of players, I get that, but when you've got two footballing services who have a mantra of attacking football, defensively solid, you tend to get exciting games between these two.
Officials in a very striking green today.
Yeah, I'm glad you mentioned them, from the Royal Navy. Aidan Madden is the man in the middle. His two assistants, Floyd Francis and Joe Moore, with John Batterson on the sideline as fourth official. Yeah, very green, isn't it? I like it. So the players are just going to set up then, I believe, for a national anthem before we get to our VIPs.
Ladies and gentlemen, will all those who are able to please stand and respectfully observe the national anthem.
A national anthem done with a little bit of flair at the start, like that. And I also like the Army coaches having to make their way across the field, realising it's the national anthem and just stopping on the centre circle. Keith Ellison will enjoy that. Mick Preston's watching along on YouTube, of course, the Royal Navy under-23 head coach. Good luck to both teams. He's in an odd position as a Royal Navy football personnel supporting the British Army today, hoping for an Army win to make next week's game interesting, and support for a Harry on YouTube. Now that could be Harry Burwood on the Royal Air Force bench. It also could be Harry Morrell on the Army bench. So we need more details, I'm afraid, as the VIPs make their way across for this afternoon kickoff. The RAF, as we mentioned then, have done half a job. There's another half a job to go, but it's probably well, it's a really difficult task against this Army team who, in 2025, across senior level and under-23 football, I think the Army came in as underdogs. Not many people were expecting what we got from British Army football in 2025. It's a different story this year. Now that they are champions, the pressure's on them. They're considered favourites going into tournaments. So a change in tactic will be needed, as Alfie Rogers stands with the referee in the centre circle and Jake Staunton comes over to join him. Two captains that represent their side with a lot of passion on the pitch. And Alfie Rogers is a player who has experience at the highest level of Forces football. He was involved with the UCAF team at the Kentish Cup at the end of 2025, and that certainly seems to be the future for Jake Staunton, I'm sure. And that's what we do see, don't we, in these under-23 championships, the stars of tomorrow in a lot of ways. There is definitely a future in Forces football where you see a Jake Staunton leading a UCAF team. You see Rio Ward and George McCowie and Buster Reed and Alfie Rogers, as we've already seen with those two, leading the line and being key players for the UK Armed Forces. As much as players like Michael Campbell will play forever, I'm sure. Heritage Wood says good luck to the Army. Jack Layton will be missed for sure, while Karen McGowan says good luck Scotty and the RAF. I'm sure he's supporting a certain roadrunner on the left wing, as Stuart Morgan called him last week. And that certainly seems to be the story at the start of this one. Yes, there's the title and the pressure that brings with it, but on the field it's about stopping and creating. Can the Army stop the pace of George McCowie? Can the RAF stop the goal scoring ability of Buster Reed? We're about to find out. And it will be Buster Reed who gets us underway then for the Army.
Come on, the boys.
And the Army then get us underway. The reigning champions join us in 2026 after a brilliant first game in Havant. It's time for the team in red to make themselves heard.
Do you think that was a deliberate tactic, kicking the ball straight out of play from kickoff?
Well, we have certainly gone back to the 90s, as it was well done by Matthew Laycott there. By Will Palmer in the Army goal. We've gone back to the 90s. We mentioned it last week. It's a lot of those tactics we're seeing a lot more of, and I know for the RAF we have a play with a long throw. Bobby London, we'll see that again I'm sure today. We'll see what the Army have got in that breadth.
Jake Staunton winning one of his many headers I expected today, as he did in the Navy game.
There he is again. Now Angus Heritage. Tom O'Hanlon's watching on, saying come on the RAF. He was leading the line for this team 12 months ago. He's expected to be involved in the senior team, you would expect, this year. But good to see him watching on. Saki Studio says a goal from Reed is my prediction. RAF throw then on the halfway line with Raul Christa to take. Raul Christa's a really interesting player when you consider the fact that he's not a left back. That is not his preferred position, but you wouldn't have thought it with the performance he put in against the Navy last week.
Yeah, he applied a real goal threat as well. I thought the Navy keeper made a really good save from him inside the box, but on another day he could really easily have had a goal.
Another RAF throw then, which Christa goes across to take. Staunton makes a dart towards him, but it will go forward towards the head of Remzi Kilikazlan, you would expect. Couldn't win the head of the RAF forward, and Rogers sends it away. Just a little bit scrappy at the start, which is what you expect when it's an inter-services game, and it gets nervy, titles on the line. We mentioned about the RAF mindset of getting their jobs done and not thinking about the bigger picture, but the same has to be said for the Army, doesn't it? Because you are the champions, you don't want to let go of that championship, and you'd have been watching on last week, seen the RAF victory and feel like you're a little bit helpless as the RAF get some momentum, and keeping their heads in the game of doing their business is important for the Army. That was a big shout of handball against Alfie Rogers, but the referee, Aidan Madden, just says play on.
I think the other thing is the Army are a long way from home here as well. I think that also plays into it, playing away as your first game.
Up towards Buster Reid, but well won by Ryan Mulligan, who was impressive against the Navy last week, like a number of them. Staunton's wild clearance, let's say. A job to do here for Scott McCallum, but he does it well. Now Calverley. And that's a foul.
He's done very well there. Just got his body in, made the Army player foul him. Very, very good stuff.
Alfie Watts just a little bit over-exuberant with that challenge. And Ryan Mulligan looks for that long sweeping pass forward to Christa.
There's another big header from Jake Staunton.
It was only Jake Staunton winning that, that's for sure. That was a foul by Buster Reid. An interesting one, actually, looking at that from Parfitt. He was expecting the challenge. He was hoping for the challenge, if I'm honest. And it's a bit of a risky tactic for a centre-back to have, because if the referee decides, no, that's a bit soft, I'm going to play on, the Army were in a great position.
I think he knew what he was doing, got his body in very well.
Up towards McCowie. One of the smallest players on the pitch wins the header. Neither side has really got hold of the ball yet in the first few minutes. And Rashane Maxwell will not do that for the Army either.
I think those high fullbacks from the RAF really changed the dynamic of the game, especially against the Navy. I think they caused quite a lot of problems doubling up with the wingers, and that allowed them to get some real joy out wide.
Here's Laycock then. He made a very good save from a beautiful effort in the first half against the Navy last week, although I'm aware now that the RAF team may have been giving him some stick and saying it's for the cameras. I wouldn't know any player who does that. I'm surely not. Staunton, all the way back to Laycock. I can tell you that we've got RAF footballing royalty in a way, watching along with former under-23 head coach Danny Bartley. He's watching on with his team, including Paul Carter and Barthez, if that means a name for you, down in RAF Northolt.
I wonder whether the Army have switched on to that Laycock long ball, obviously, after it caused such carnage in the Navy game. It was a really, really good strike when it was played back to him.
Well, we've seen last week in Havant two sides that wanted to play a high line. The Army don't seem to be playing that high line, and that must be a tactical tweak you'd expect from Keith Emerson. We're going to see a long throw here by Bobby London. Well,
or not perhaps.
We'll take two, that one.
Bit early to be wasting time, no?
He goes into the penalty area this time, bounces around, and the Army get clear through Heritage. Buster Reid's touch just run away from him. And Laycock goes again. And the Army are certainly having a much deeper line than we saw the Navy do last week. That is the benefit of playing second. Everyone knows what George McCowie and co can do this week. Taylor Ryder says, come on the lads, supporting one of these two teams. Buster Reid chests it down, and the Army are looking to connect in the attacking areas. Staunton and Reid challenging together, both looking towards the ref, but they'll play on. And now Kobe Jones sends it forward. Strong challenge in there on Rory England, but it's a very good one from Parfitt. I haven't seen a centre-back partnership complement each other quite as well as these two in a long while in Forces football.
Yeah, they were very good in the first game, and expecting similar from them today. Very composed on the ball, but also can do that dirty side of the game well with those tackles.
Throw in then for Heritage to send in. Here's Rory England, one of a brother duo. McCowie gets a foot in, Army throw. Heritage then sends it forward, but it's cut out again. Another throw. The Army starting to build a little pressure, but the RAF standing firm. This time Heritage will try to load into the penalty area. Didn't really get all of it, but the Army keep it alive perhaps. Now Heritage again. Gets it down and sends to the byline, looking for a cross. Blocked away by Parfitt, and the clearance though is a little bit loose.
Yeah, I think we just need a little bit of composure in there. He just needs a little call, take your time, bring it down and play forward. Take that pressure off.
Heritage this time goes into the feet of England. Back to England. Two sides putting in every 50-50 is one they want to win at the moment.
I'm not sure that's a long throw.
Yeah. I'm not sure it's a legal throw either, if I'm honest, but we'll play on. Rogers' first time ball is good and gets some space for Rashawn Maxwell, who unfortunately has just drifted offside. Stop-start at the moment.
Definitely, that throw-in's a strange one from the Army. It kind of seems to spin up in the air. Very much like Bobby London's earlier throw where he didn't throw it.
Well, maybe there's something in the air in Oswestry. Here's Laycock then. And the RAF is certainly looking to bring the Army forward into the pitch, but they are not biting at the moment. Deep defensive line means that these long balls are not causing the same damage they did at Havant a week ago. Staunton. Here's Parfitt. Full-back's gone forward, but this time he drops back. Christa. Strong challenge in there by Kobe Jones. Loops up. Heritage. Was there a push there? There wasn't. McCowie comes forward now. Immediately 3 Army players around him, and they managed to stop the corner.
That looks to be a clear tactic, doesn't it? As soon as George McCowie got on the ball, there was immediately 2 bodies around him and a third one joined very quickly. It does give us the opportunity for another long throw though, that we can make the most of, hopefully.
Over goes Bobby London, who has the best new name in Forces football this year. I like that, Bobby London. Gets hold of it this time, into the penalty area it goes. It's allowed to bounce, and it's directed towards goal by the striker Kili Kazlan, but that will be easy for Will Palmer. It's a real compliment for a footballer, isn't it, when you get the ball and there's immediately 3 players around you, and that's the tactic. But what that does give you as an RAF team is space for other players to make the impact. I'm thinking of someone like Callum Calverley last week. Wasn't really as impactful as he'd have liked to have been on that right hand side. Had that chance midway through the first half where he really should have thrown a right foot at it. Felt like he had to go with the left, sent it wide, but apart from that he wasn't as impactful, so maybe today would be a day that he gets more joy.
Yeah, absolutely, and hopefully George McCowie can do that, draw players in and pop it off to someone else who can do the damage.
Here's Christa back to Parfitt. And Mulligan now.
Parfitt sporting a lovely graze on his knee already.
There's that long switch ball, but it's headed away well by Heritage. Now Jones sends it forward towards Reid. Good flick by Buster Reid. Really smart flick actually, and could have led to something. Jones's shot was blocked away for a throw-in. Really smart striker play there to bring others into the game. Unfortunately for the Army, Rory England and Rashawn Maxwell wasn't quite on the same wavelength.
Yeah, it's definitely one to watch, and definitely a player that we've got to get tighter to stop those flick-ons, or even worse, him bringing it down and getting a shot away.
Throwing into the penalty area. The RAF will deal with it. And now Rio Ward, the goal scorer, getting caught in possession in a bad area actually. The Army into the penalty area now. And the RAF get away with it.
There's a third one for the Jake Staunton header bingo.
Kili Kazlan Couldn't get his body ahead of the ball. Good defending by Alfie Rogers. Support on YouTube for Buster Reed from Buster Reed and Kyle Joyce from 7 Regiment RLC. Parfitt and Mullivan both play centre back for our Air and Space Ops trade team, so they play together regularly. You can see that with the partnership they have. Support for Harry Morell who's currently sat on the Army bench as well. RAF with the ball then.
I think it's really important to make sure the RAF don't get frustrated here. Happy just to pop the ball side to side, move the Army around and wait for their opportunity. There's no need to just launch it forward at the first opportunity they get.
No need for either of these teams to force it right now. They're in strong positions in this championship.
Army seem content just to sit in as well in that sort of mid-block and just let them play.
Staunton with a bit of space. Immediately the Army get on top of him though. Good pressure by Rory England. Sorry, Ben England onto Rory England now. Two brothers linking together. England across the box, and it's somehow not gone in. It was Maxwell who got there, and what a defensive block that is. I think it's Scott McCallum who managed to somehow get something on it, and it went over the bar, but a big chance for the Army.
Yeah, that's an absolutely fantastic block from McCallum. Got back in, goal side, probably 6 yards out, and he's managed to deflect it over the crossbar. Really, really good emergency defending from him there.
Brilliant pressure in the midfield by the Army there. That's exactly what Keith Emerson will want to see. Ben England winning the ball, finding his brother Rory, ball across. And yeah, Maxwell must have thought he'd scored. He had a corner kick though. England whips it in, right to the back post. Rogers underneath it. Won the header, but it pinballed away.
That looks like a routine they've worked on with Rogers at the back post, peeling off to head back across.
Well, we know how good he can be in the air from corners. We saw it many times last year. Comment on YouTube says that Buster Reed is the Henry Vardy. Henry Vardy must be a place. Fine. Jamie Vardy's a good comparison though. He's in there again with a challenge there, Buster Reed. Ken Vaughan is watching along on Facebook, says fantastic coverage, thanks for sharing with us. Very welcome, thank you for joining us. Maxwell looking to win the ball for the Army. McCallum wasn't able to come away with it, throw in to the champions.
Jake Staunton does look like the outball for the RAF if they can get it into him in the pocket and just open up the other side of the pitch. I think that's the way to get through this Army press.
Has to be brave on the ball, Staunton, though, doesn't he? Because he's immediately going to have the hounds around him, and that's what we saw with that Army chance.
Yeah, absolutely. If he can draw those players in like he did and play it off to someone else, that's the way forward.
Andy Harvey on YouTube says big support for Declan Howe, cracking player, currently sat in the midfield for the Army, number 4. McCallum then with the throw for the RAF. Staunton looking to provide an option. Good header on. And McCowie's come all the way over from the left-hand side to cause a problem, and Rogers isn't going to be able to keep up. McCowie into the penalty area.
I think if McCowie just holds on to that ball 1 second longer, he gets fouled there.
The RAF then in a good position in the Army half with Staunton, the captain. Immediately, once again, the Army aggressive in the press, but a little bit too aggressive from Ben England, who wasn't happy with the decision, but from our perspective, it did look a cut and dry free kick, to be honest.
Yeah, Jake Staunton does need to sharpen up slightly on the ball. I think a couple of times he's nearly been caught in possession, but he's done very well to draw a foul there, and hopefully a free kick in a good area.
Free kick in a good area, as you say, Staunton over it. Chance for some of the taller centre-backs to come forward, and the RAF do have a height advantage. Staunton, and the header from Mulligan.
He was offside, Lino had the flag up. It's a very difficult one, that free kick, because it's so straight, dead centre of the goal. Ideally you want a little pop across to change the angle and then diagonal into the box, but yeah, very difficult to time your run from such a straight delivery.
Stephen Phillips on Facebook says, where's the game being played? We're in Oswestry today, home of the New Saints at the venue.
International coverage.
International coverage. Oswestry is still just about England though. Just about.
I've seen Welsh signs on the
There
way
it
here,
is.
so I'm going to claim it.
The locals will have you for that. Staunton. Parfitt then sends it wide for Christa. The Army aggressive again in the press. And they're unlucky to win, not to win the ball there, Kobe Jones. Real aggressiveness again. Parfitt, the happy. Oh, Parfitt's misplaced the pass though.
He's telegraphed that. He's seen it coming a long way off.
Maxwell finds the cross. It'll stay in for England at the back post. The Army just probing now. England's ball in. Too close to Laycock, who does well. I was about to say the Army are happy for the RAF to have the ball at centre back, but it was a misplaced pass from Parfitt.
Yeah, I must say the Army have triggered that press really well. They've waited for the heavy touch or the heavy pass, and they've really snapped onto it a couple of times now. So the RAF have got to be a lot tidier in possession.
Throw in back from Heritage then, and a chance for Tom Saunderson to get a mention in the centre-back position alongside Alfie Rogers, a new name for Army football, I believe. Saunderson into Ben England. And these two brothers are starting to become more and more influential on the game. England looking for Rashane Maxwell.
Very good there from Cal Calverley.
It's forward by Laycock. Ball just getting stuck in the wind here. But now, chance for Heritage to come forward and looking for the 1-2. Gets it back, Heritage coming forward. Looking to play in Buster Reed, just a little loose. There's a challenge in that. I think Mulligan slipped, if I'm honest, and it sort of put him into a sliding challenge he didn't really want to make. In fact, yeah, Mulligan. But it will be an Army corner.
Great tackle, does the job, doesn't it? It's gone out for a corner.
Just landed a little heavily on his shoulder, so we'll keep an eye on that one. Someone's watching from Canada, where unfortunately they have the flu, so get well soon. Chance then, Army corner. Number 10, Rory England. Takes it short to number 8, Ben England. Really smart play. Ball in two. Chance at the back post. Didn't really drop the way the Army wanted it, but excellent work from the set piece to create the opportunity.
Yeah, the RAF have defended that well, but the Army have worked hard on set pieces by the looks of it. They've got a lot of different routines.
Great ball, Buster Reed in behind.
Well spread, Matt Laycock, another important save.
The flag did stay down, so that was an important save. First big opportunity for Reed. And the Army are just starting to look a little bit more threatening at the moment. The RAF are just hanging on a little as we go through this first half. That's good chance number 3.
This is exactly what the Army want. Drag 2 players out of the RAF box and then they can put a delivery in.
No, it's a bit of a wasted opportunity. Alfie Watts thought he saw an option coming forward. The ball's played into him and it was immediately cut out by Staunton and McCallum. Here's Maxwell. Brings the ball down and immediately they are going to look for Rory England quite a lot today. Ball in though. And that's going to be an Army throw. Taken by Heritage. Looking for Ben England. Just bounced away from him, but he manages to keep it for the Army here with Jones. And that will be another corner. In fact, it will be a goal kick. Interesting. From our position up here, admittedly we're not on the pitch, so we'll give the referee and the linesman the benefit of the doubt. That looked to take a huge deflection. Maybe he just took a massive miss kick. Laycock then with the goal kick. The Army have certainly had the better of the chances in this game, but we're still goalless. And apart from that one break from McCarry, they managed to keep him quiet so far. Laycock's got to get his foot under this.
Laycock's distribution is excellent, but he's got to keep that ball off of Alfie Rogers.
Here's McCarry looking to create something, but it's Rogers again getting the foot in. Had a good start, Alfie Rogers here today. Throw in then for the RAF with Christa. Bobby London's not interested in the long throw here. Krista then into the feet of Ward. Back to Krista. She's going to load the penalty area. It's lofted though, and it should be the goalkeeper. He's only got a punch on it. Chance maybe for the RAF, and it's off the line. And Killy Caslan's not going to go much closer. What great defending by Alfie Rogers again. Strong challenge by Jones. And the referee is giving it as a free kick to the Army for holding on by Krista.
Looked like 6 to 1, half a dozen of the other there, really.
Let's talk about that chance though. I mean, the goalkeeper, Will Palmer, got a punch on it. May not have been his best decision. And it ended up being fired at goal by Killy Caslan, who must think he scored. And Alfie Rogers has tracked back. Brilliant defending from the Army captain. And the RAF go close.
I'm sure the instruction will be to hang a few more on the Army goalkeeper after that one.
And the Army now looking to respond with Rogers. Looking towards the feet of Buster Reed, but it's cut out well. And now Staunton looked to release McCowie. That was an opportunity actually, because Heritage had flied forward.
That's exactly the chance the RAF are looking for. Can we slide McCowie in behind? Ball on the floor as much as possible and let him do the damage.
So far, Angus Heritage will be pretty pleased with his work. He's managed to keep McCowan quiet at times. Staunton was fouled by Reed, who didn't really attempt to win the ball.
If Jake Staunton didn't win the header, it must be a foul.
Laycock then, and the Army have gone very deep immediately. There will be no long Laycock kicks over the back four today.
I don't know, I think he's still got this in him.
Well, they've looked to bring men forward, the RAF. Once again, it's Rogers who wins that header. And now the Army come forward with Rory England. Just getting his wires crossed, really, but Kobe Jones, he's going to keep this in. We'll call it a brilliant pass. Heritage, bit of space for the right back, who's got to line one up. Couldn't resist. There were options in the penalty area, but he couldn't resist the right back there and got it all wrong.
Seen his name in the headlines there, I think. Quite a few loose balls that the Army have pounced on, where the RAF have almost switched off thinking it's going out of play, and the Army have snapped straight onto it, so definitely something to be aware of. Got to keep alert while that ball's in play.
It's an interesting switch, isn't it? Because last week, we spoke on commentary about the fact that we felt that the RAF were a little sharper into the 50-50s. This week, it certainly feels like the Army have got that advantage so far. And that may be, you know, the schedule. The RAF played a very difficult 90 minutes against the Navy last week. That goes into it. But I'm sure Tom Richardson will expect a bit more. That's asking a lot, and McCowie's going to get there, you know, chance. That's exactly the type of ball, isn't it, the RAF are looking for. Well defended in the end by Heritage and Palmer.
That's a fantastic pass in behind there to release McCowie.
It's amazing to watch McCowie, because the ball bounces through and you think, oh, loose, not getting near him. And then all of a sudden he's on the scene. I mean, I'll credit Stu Morgan for the name, but Roadrunner is the best example I can think of. And that's going to be another chance for him. It's going to bounce, and Heritage does well again.
Yeah, he's done very well there to get his body in and just ease McCowie off the ball.
The RAF still looking to put the pressure on with Calverley. The Army come away, and they're going to have to try and keep him quiet. Rory England, bring him down instead.
Yeah, that was a little bit naughty, that one. I don't think he was ever going to get the ball from there.
No, and it will be a yellow card. Cut and dry yellow card for Bobby London. Cut the attack off at its knees. Soft
Yellow, I reckon, early doors. Although he could have had a couple of yellows against the Navy, there were a few questionable tackles in that game. But
I was going to say, spoken like a true RAF official there.
It's a long way to go, though, in central midfield with a yellow card.
It is, it is. Rogers then looking for Maxwell. Good head out, though. And the RAF looking to break. It's just a little loose by Kilikazlan. Equally as loose though from the Army, and now Parfit. Smart, cultured left foot there to find McCarry. Great first touch as well by the winger, and that's more like the RAF we saw last week.
Yeah, superb from McCarry to retain possession there with that touch, and then we kick it straight out.
That's more of what we've seen in the first half an hour so far from the RAF. Throw in then with Heritage. Flicked on. There was a shirt pull by London, but we'll play on. That'll be an Army corner. London needs to be careful.
He is playing a very risky game.
The 2-8s came together in the middle there, and it was one of the most obvious shirt pulls I've seen in some time. Good officiating though, actually, from the Royal Navy's Aidan Madden to play on.
I think he was just running and his hand got stuck in his shirt.
Yeah, we'll go with that one, shall we? Corner then, which Rory England goes over to take. Lofts towards that back post. Rogers is coming in underneath it. It bounces down. It will be a goal kick.
Looked a corner to me, if I'm honest. It looked like it came off an RAF head on the way out.
Midnight Mag says, I reckon the British lads are going to win. Well played. Match day 2 then of this Inter-Services under-23 championship. The RAF know a win today, they will be champions, but the Army are here to spoil the party. They are not going to let that championship go without a fight, and they're going to want to set themselves up for the best possible position heading into next week's game against the Royal Navy.
I must admit it's been very even so far.
And that's going to go for a throw to the RAF. It felt like the Army were starting to dominate certain areas of the field. They were getting some really good chances, but the RAF have just hit back a little bit in the last 5 minutes.
Yeah, I think we've started to settle again, a little bit sloppy in possession in those periods, but I think we've started to settle down now and create a few chances of our own.
Bobby London just slows it down to come and take the long throw. And that'll go out for an Army throw.
The concern with these long throws is there's got to be a target to flick it on. There's no good just throwing it into an area and hoping someone gets on the end of it.
Staunton with a bit of a high foot there. There was a claim from the Army bench, but the Army come away with it and play on. Watts. Chance now for Maxwell to send it wide, and Rory England's got a bit of space. That's not what you want to give him.
Raoul Christa's got 2 at the back post as well.
And it was looking towards the run from Angus Heritage from the back, and now the RAF will look to break in the space that he gives. It's a bit higher though from Laycock.
That'll do, that's a great header.
It's good covering from Declan Howe. He's got a big job, hasn't he, Declan Howe, really, because if Heritage wants to get forward, he is going to let McCarry have the run of the pitch on the left-hand side, so Declan Howe has to be on the cover. RAF throw then into the feet or the chest of Kilikazlan. It just bounces up, and he's pushed off the ball, really, in a legal way. Reed's smart pass though. Maxwell. And Maxwell's shot was charged down, just running away from goal, really.
Yeah, good defending again from McCallum, but the Army are definitely dangerous on the bench with their front 3.
McCallum did very well. As you say, Maxwell, good starting position, but the touch and the movement from there wasn't really what was needed. Staunton's header on is cut out by Howe, who keeps hold of it and finds Maxwell, who was onside. England runs into trouble though, and that will be a free kick to the RAF. Calverley goes down.
Laycock was playing a very, very dangerous game there. I don't know if you heard the referee counted right down to 1 before he kicked it.
The 90s are back, but that is also very 2026, isn't it?
One of the worst things that's been inputted into the game as a goalkeeper.
Well, we're still goalless, we're still tense, still all in the balance. And Laycock says get forward, because we know he's got a Pickford about him, hasn't he?
He has to keep the ball off Alfie Rogers' head.
Now, to be fair to him, he sent it the opposite side of the pitch there, and Alfie Rogers has tanked people out of the way to get hold of it himself, so he tried. A little loose from Parfitt again, but it'll be easily swept up by Mulligan.
Seems like the RAF are very, very high here when the two centre-halves have got the ball. There's not many options when they're looking forward.
Yeah, the RAF looking for options, not finding many. It's a well-drilled Army side, as you would expect. We saw it in 2025. Keith Emerson doesn't allow anything else. And it's happening again so far.
Yeah, they really have to get Rio Ward and Jake Staunton on the ball there if they want to get out. It's got to be a quick punch into the midfield.
Well, it's Staunton, the man who's standing in the centre circle with no one around him. But the RAF are just not finding him at the moment. That's a ball towards McCowie. Heritage is there. And that will be an Army free kick.
He's bought that one. I think he knew Rio Ward was coming.
Yeah, I wouldn't say there was a whole lot of contact from Rio Ward. Maybe just a little nudge, but enough for the Royal Navy referee to give that free kick.
I think the fourth officials had a little bit from either side there after that one.
Yeah, I do feel I feel bad for the fourth official stuck between Keith Emerson and Tom Richardson right now. Into the feet of Ben England.
See, that pass from the Army there is exactly what the RAF are looking to do, is just punch it into Jake Staunton and out the other side.
Now Rory England looking to race onto it. Alfie Watt now.
That was a great tackle there again.
Watt, sorry. Yeah, really good challenge in the midfield, and that'll go for a goal kick. I want to point out, by the way, the Army have got a brother duo in this team. The Royal Navy, while they were unavailable for this tournament, have a brother duo in their footballing world that was part of a massive Navy Cup win for RNAS Culdrose a month or so ago. The RAF need to find a brother duo. We need the battles. It's quite rare, isn't it, that you see it in one team, let alone sort of two services have got the option to field it. Fortunately, there is an injury at the moment for the RAF, which is why all the players are going to get a drinks break. I think it's Parfitt who is down.
Yeah, I think one of the problems with this surface is it is very unforgiving, especially if you're sliding around and flying into tackles.
Well, we'll be keeping an eye, and hopefully Parfitt will be okay to continue. I just wonder if maybe he was nursing a little bit of a knock anyway, because he's looked a bit uncomfortable at times, Parfitt, today, compared to last week for sure. And I apologise if you hear any foul language from the Army and the RAF benches. And I also want to put out a little message. If you're having some issues watching along on Facebook, please keep at it. We're there, or switch over to YouTube. We're definitely live there.
I think a few strong words there from both benches to fire their players up for the remaining 10 minutes of this half.
Right, it's been a battle. We've seen some physical challenges. We've seen some good opportunities. And it's going to be an RAF change, so a blow as Parfitt comes off, and he's replaced by Dylan Sadler, who gets his first taste of inter-services football. And it means that Rio Ward, the number 10, who was a brilliant attacking midfielder last week, slots into the centre-half position. Now, I'm going to have to give you an apology here, Alex, because I made a point earlier off broadcast that the RAF notes had Rio Ward down as a defender, and he certainly didn't look like a defender last week, but clearly he can play there.
Yeah, I think that's answered that question. Was definitely a goal threat in the first game, but now doing his defensive duties. But that is definitely a loss for the RAF, as the two centre-halves have been excellent so far and in the first game.
Not just that, it means that the right foot left foot partnership has been disrupted too. And now Buster Reid has more space than he's had in the entire first half, to be honest. He gets the shot away and he's completely got it wrong.
I thought that was a corner again, by the way. It looked like it took another deflection, but you certainly cannot give Buster Reid that amount of space outside the box.
Right, it means that Ryan Mulligan has moved into the left centre-back position, a right-footed centre-back. It means, of course, Rio Wood right-footed as well. So there is a little bit of disjoint there. And Staunton and Mulligan just had a few words there as if to say who's meant to be picking him up. And Mulligan's a bit confused, I think, at that moment as the RAF were reshuffling things over.
We have got a left-footed goalkeeper, though, so does that count?
Well, I mean, depends on how high his line wants to be, Matthew Laycock. I wouldn't recommend it.
He certainly plays as a third centre-half at times, especially in the build-up.
Well, Rio Wood does have this sweeping ball as an option. Didn't quite get it right there, though. And that'll be an RAF throw. Every 50-50 is thrown with as much passion as possible.
Yeah, Raul Christ has done very well there, though, just to get his body in and shepherd that ball out for a throw-in.
And if there were any issues on Facebook for you, we are back up and running, I believe, so no problems there.
I don't know what's happened there, but it seems to be an Army throw in exactly the same position.
Charlie Heel on YouTube says, number 8, so good. He could be talking about Ben England, could be talking about Bobby London. Both have shown their abilities as the rain starts to swirl into our commentary box, by the way. Not a fan of that. Sending it forward for the Army, and Buster Reid will chase this down. And that is good old-fashioned centre-back play. Yes, he's conceded a corner, but if in doubt, out it goes.
Yeah, definitely the safe decision there, and one that I would take. Could he potentially have put it out for a throw-in? Maybe, but he's safety first.
Difficult because you also had Jones steamrolling in, and good pressure once again from the Army, who have certainly realised that if you put this RAF team under pressure, there could be opportunities there. Rory England over the corner. Ben England is a short option. Buster Reid at the near post. It'll go into Ben England, and they're looking to make something happen with Rory England. The ball in though is disappointing, and that will annoy Keith Emerson and his team, to be honest.
I think it'll annoy Alfie Rogers as well when there's not a ball delivered into the box after he's gone up there.
Jones chests it into the penalty area, and there was a late challenge in there by Buster Reid.
That's very late. That's got to be a booking. That is naughty. It's already in Laycock's hands, and he's caught him very high.
Well, I mean, the ball was there to bounce for, but yes, when it's already in the hand, then very difficult to defend that one.
I think the shout of "ref have a word" is very apt.
And also very calmly done by the RAF. Hopefully Laycock will be okay.
He's not booking him, and between that one and Bobby London's challenge, I think is a booking apiece. I'm not sure you can let them go, especially as a goalkeeper.
Yeah, yeah. Well, goalkeepers union and all that, but I think you're probably right. David Jones, Colonel David Jones, is watching along. Chairman of the Army FA, watching along on an operational deployment in North Macedonia. Good to see people watching across the bases and across all the deployments that we managed to show these games to. Oliver Booth says the England brothers are running the show. They've certainly been influential, but they haven't found a breakthrough for the Army. And at 0-0, well, I'm not quite sure who it does suit. Maybe the Army, admittedly.
With Matt Laycock sprawled out on the floor here, I think that is even more questionable that a yellow card hasn't been shown.
Well, I expect a few minutes of added time here. It's not the first injury interruption we've had. And yeah, Buster Reid's a player that throws himself into every challenge. It's why he is so successful, and a lot of 50-50s leading to goals. We get that, but it wasn't quite the right challenge there. Paul Carter also says surely a yellow.
I might be mistaken there, but I think he knows what he's doing. Leave one on the keeper.
Well, the Royal Navy referee has not booked him, and once Laycock gets the AOK, we will get going once again. So the RAF already called into an early change. Their centre-back partnership has been disrupted in this first half. The last thing they want to do is lose Laycock as well, but he looks okay to continue. A goalkeeper with a lot of potential in the RAF. I know a lot of eyes are already on him, that's for sure. Army win the header, and England to his brother Rory England. And that's asking a lot, but Laycock's there. Does well, the goalkeeper.
Yeah, I think he's recovered.
Well, I mean, credit to him, because it was another one of those situations where after what's just happened, he might have been cautious. He wasn't. Didn't let it affect him. And that's a late challenge as well by Killy Caslan. Just a feeling of nerves as we head towards the half-time whistle. Neither of these two teams want to concede here now. I would suggest perhaps they'd be happy to go in level at this stage.
Yeah, I think especially the RAF with a change in the back four, you just want to get in and regroup.
It's Staunton. It has to be part of that leadership team looking to keep things together. He gets a foot in there too to get it forward. Rogers, though, looks calm and composed, and Killy Kazlan hasn't really been able to lay a glove on him, if I'm honest. You can see the player who's played top-level forces footballs at the moment.
Yeah, absolutely. The two Army centre-halves have been very strong, to be fair.
Sent forward by Saunderson, and, well, Mulligan was taking a chance. Rio Ward sends it forward. McCowie will try and get on this if it bounces. The goalkeeper came for a header, and I think there was a clash of heads actually, so hopefully McCowie gets the treatment at ASAP, and he does. On comes the physio. The Army cannot let that bounce there. They just can't let it bounce. I understand that Will Palmer wants to come and win that ball, but a centre-back surely has to take control of that.
Yeah, I think it's that, or you have to hear a really early loud call from Palmer, which basically tells you that he's coming for it and he's going to take the lot no matter what. I didn't hear that from up here. So yeah, if you're in that situation, definitely the defender's got to take responsibility.
I just think with someone like McCowie about, you don't want the ball bouncing in any position there. Hopefully McCowie is not going to be worse for wear from it. He took quite a knock in the collision. And the RAF have been in the wars in this first half.
Yeah, the Army keeper also looks to be down, receiving some treatment to his head inside the box.
Yeah, certainly a collision. And a chance for the Army then to get more drink and more refreshment, as half-time whistle is not far away, although I expect we're going to get a few minutes of added time at this point.
Yeah, I'd expect upwards of probably 5 or 6 with the injuries we've had.
So this is match day 2. I can confirm that match day 3 in Winchester next Wednesday unfortunately won't be live on the BFBS Forces News YouTube channel due to some technical requirements, but we are hoping to have a camera there, and we will be able to get the goals for you on our platforms as soon as we can from there. The RAF will hope it's a bit of a nothing game. They'll hope the championship's wrapped up already, but if the Army get anything from today's game, a point or a win, it will go over to next week.
Yeah, it will definitely be interesting to see the Army's approach as we come towards the end of the game, whether they're happy to hold on for that draw if the score remains the same, or whether they're looking to get the victory going into next week's game.
And an Army point or a win keeps it alive for the Royal Navy, even if goal difference will be the deciding factor.
Oh, there is a lot of claret.
A bit of claret, yeah, lots of claret, and I think there's going to be an Army change in goal here because of it.
I don't know if there is. I don't know whether he just needs to change his shirt. He surely can't go on with that.
Yeah, I think they're going to change his shirt.
A few little bits of claret as well on the bright white gloves of the Army goalkeeper.
Yeah, McCowie's had a bit of claret too. So that shows exactly the passion. 5 minutes of added time, we're told. Although we haven't quite got underway again yet, so maybe a little bit more. McCowie just getting treatment directly underneath us in our media gantry.
As I was once told, tell him he's Pele and send him back on.
New shirt then for the Army goalkeeper Will Palmer, who now takes on the shirt not number 1, but he is still number 1, Will Palmer. And we've got the Terry Butcher coming out here, by the way, for George McCowie, the wraparound. I'm a big fan of the Terry Butcher wraparound. You'll see it in just a moment.
That's a very rogue shout. New gloves as well. I wouldn't be happy about that as a keeper. I'm not changing my gloves for anything, especially if I haven't conceded.
Well, he takes on the number 12, which I think was Ben Griffiths' shirt. I think Ben Griffiths has handed over his shirt to Will Palmer. So the goalkeepers union working together for the Army. Charlie Heel says, on paper, who is the better team, may I ask? That's a very good question, and not a question I think I can confidently give you an answer to. They're very even. The RAF were very good against the Royal Navy last week, but the Army showed what they did last year to win the championship. And the first 45 minutes probably just sums that up. It's been chances for both teams, 50-50s to win, very even, no goals yet.
Yeah, all I'll say is there's points on the board for one team.
The Army haven't played yet. Both sides then just looking to get back into the game after a number of extended breaks. Injury at the back for the RAF with Parfitt going off at centre back, and then the collision there, and also the treatment for Laycock too.
I think the last thing McCowie wants to see after having that head injury is the ball flying towards him about 80 foot in the air.
To be honest, with the way that RAF Brown looks, it might even be, I don't think you'll see it coming, to be honest with you. I think it's over his eyes a little bit. I'm sure they'll get that sorted at half time. Physical, demanding, that's what inter-services football is all about. What can the Army do to end this first half? They've got the ball with Rory England, and the long switch of play is good towards Heritage, who brings it down well into Jones. Heritage makes the run forward. Jones with a bit of space now. Looking for Ben England. Pass needed to go a little quicker, to be honest. Put Ben England in a bit of trouble. So Rory England. Here's Ben England. That'll be a throw-in. Good play from Rio Ward, who is playing centre-back now. Can Rio Ward get a shirt number change? Because number 10 at centre-back looks odd.
Yeah, that hurts me too.
Ball in. And it's Ward who's been clattered, really. Chance for the Army, and well, it's gone wide. I think the whistle had already gone, to be honest. It was a bit of an odd one from the Navy official, but it was a head injury, so it needed to be stopped. As Laycock just takes out his centre-back. You've already lost one, Laycock. I wouldn't try and lose another.
Yeah, you got to do what you got to do there as a goalkeeper in that situation. You come and you take the lot. Ball player.
Well, Rio Ward's got to his feet and has waved away the physio.
George McCowie's ditched the headband.
Yeah, I didn't think he could see, if I'm honest. And also, it looks like he's had a fresh cut, so you want to show off your haircut.
He's now got a fresh cut just below on his head as well.
He had a mullet at the start of the game. Right, Laycock sends it forward then into added time at the end of this first half. Howe sends it wide. Now Jones. Looked tidy in this first half, as I give him the full commentator's curse. So McCowie on his forehead has one hell of a welt, is the right way to say it. He looks like he's been involved in inter-services boxing coming up next month, to be honest. Here's Ryan Mulligan.
You just see there the difficulties with having that right-footed left centre-half there when he's looking to play forward.
Sent forward by Laycock. And the Army are going to have it again. Alfie Rogers there sends it forward. And it's going to be allowed to bounce, and will bounce into Laycock's arms.
Great distribution there.
Yeah, really good. Scott McCallum brings it forward. The RAF looking to do something at the end of this half, but Calverley's pass was a little loose and deflected. Here's Staunton. Allowed it to bounce, and you can't do that with the Army midfield around. That was Rory England winning it back. Jones now, really smart turn inside, and once again, England takes over.
He's very tidy on the ball and very nippy to nick possession as well.
Saunderson to Rogers, and the Army get possession and try and work their way into this game at the end of the first half. They've had chances in this first half. That's a smart ball through. Buster Reed needed to knock it on for Jones, really, but it eventually makes its way to the Army number 7. And now Heritage.
We are into 6 minutes of the 5 added.
Ball from England, added time of added time. And Rio Ward is quickly scarpering onto it to send it forward. Have been injuries, and that's going to be a foul. That was one of the most obvious fouls I've seen in a long time.
Although I didn't actually think the ref was going to give it at first.
That, I mean, we did see it last week I thought, with Kili Kazlan. He couldn't quite get into the game, looked a bit frustrated in that second half. That was frustration once again.
Very good from Rio Ward, though, there, just to clean up in defence.
All eyes on the official then, as the half-time whistle goes in Oswestry. And we are where we started. There's no way to call this at half-time. Both sides have had chances, some real good ones as well, if I'm honest, but great defensive work and passionate tackles are the story of the day. If the RAF want to win the championship today, they're going to have to find something a little different in this second half, but injuries are not going to help them. We've just shown a couple of the great chances in that first half. I mean, the Army have probably had the better of the chances, if we're honest, but the RAF will look to that clearance off the line by Alfie Rogers as well.
Yeah, I agree. As much as it pains me to say, the Army have definitely been the more likely, but still 0-0. Opportunities to come in the second half, hopefully.
So 0-0, lot still to go, and a championship to be won, whether that's today or next week. Half-time, we've got some more great content coming your way. A look into the RAF women's football dynasty. Really, they've been the queens of forces football for a number of years, and we get to delve into why that is with them on a training pitch, and more from the highlights from last week in Havant. So we'll see you very shortly.
It's floated in and it's headed into the net very, very early on. What a start.
You can see he had the ability to do something special, and that is special.
Suddenly the game has come to life.
Hello everyone, welcome then to Wesley Park for the dawn of a new era. This is the under-23 Inter-Services Football Championship, but for a lot of these players tonight, it is the first taste of Inter-Services. You will witness future stars of Kentish Cups and senior Inter-Services here tonight, that is for sure. It is a new coaching staff for the Navy, a new coaching staff for the RAF, and a whole host of new faces on the field. So we should be in for a big night, and with the Army coming next week, the champions, it is important, it is vital really, that both of these teams will want to get a win on the board. Certainly pushing the fullbacks high, but they've got to really be careful of this Navy counter-attack.
That's a great ball, and he is onside. He's in.
The RAF defender switched off.
Oh,
fabulous
great
save. Matthew Laycock did really well. So a Navy free kick then, and a chance for William Gregory Diana, who's had the best chance of the game so far, to get the ball into the penalty area. He does, lofts it.
Ooh. What you got on you?
The
Glory!
volley.
Oh!
What a save that is.
What a hit from the lad.
It's a brilliant effort from Lewis Quinn, but Matthew Laycock standing up for the RAF.
It's a great save.
Ball forward again, and it's the pace of McCowan, who's going to keep this in, by the way.
Great
Incredible speed.
Wow. Hey, makes me look tired watching it. Oh, he's got through him.
Get right through. Chance here.
He's in. Oh, it's a great save.
It was Raul Christa who bounced through into the penalty area, but a really smart save by Josh Grant, and we're still goalless. And now the RAF look to build an attack with Calverley on the right.
Oh, he's gone past
really
him. It's a
smart
great turn
from Calverley. He's on the left foot.
Oh, use your right, big un.
He didn't look comfortable going to the right, I will say that, but he fires it wide, and the RAF missed their first big chance of the game. I think this is going to be Ward. Some distance.
Oh,
and it's hit the crossbar, bounced down and
What
gone
a
away, and he couldn't get much closer to scoring than that. Cross in.
Oh,
There's still a chance, and the whistle's gone.
For a little push in the back.
For a push in the back. Well, Rio Ward.
What a hit, by the way. What a hit. Here we go. He's inside his fullback as well. Oh, everything's just
It's just got to bounce, and the keeper's come again.
Hit it.
Chance now for Gowan.
Oh, great.
He got it on target.
Oh.
No, he hasn't. It's just gone wide. I thought it was going to drop in for, Sonny Gower it was, not Gowan. McCowie is whipping it in with the left foot, lofted towards the back post. Keeper's come, not got near it. Chance.
Oh, blocked on the line.
Somehow it hasn't gone in again. Staunton now.
Oh, he's gone for a lob.
And that's not gone how he wanted it to go. The keeper,
what.
Josh Grant, was nowhere near that one.
Oh, I'll tell you what, here's a chance. well played kick. That's a
Great kick as well.
monster of a kick.
And the pace goes forward again.
Oh, they're struggling with this kid here. They're absolutely struggling with him.
And he
Oh,
cuts
he's in.
inside. Brilliant chance for the RAF.
Good
And
save.
a good save. The rebound though.
Goal!
And the RAF take the lead. And I think it's Rio Ward who is celebrating. The number 10. Right where you needed him on the rebound, back of the net. But that pace is causing problems. And finally the RAF break through. And the RAF bring it forward from the back. Just gets caught though.
He's lost it.
And a chance. That's a really strong sliding tackle from the captain. Referee says he got the ball, and he did get the ball, but it was strong from Staunton. What can the RAF do to take advantage?
That's a strong tackle right there.
The Navy player who's just come off the bench is still down, and that might have just been a bit of retaliation, if I'm honest.
A bit of a sizzle there. Oh, coming together.
And yeah, it's just a little bit of handbags going on, just off vision.
Oh.
Scott.
That's not a bad one.
That's a lofted ball in. Oh. The RAF struggling to defend it. And the Navy's shot was charged down, and that might have been the chance for Drummond. Really strong tackle. And the shot from Howells.
Oh, what a save.
Not sure if it was just going wide, but the goalkeeper couldn't take the chance. Headed away by Strother. And Ellis Howard sends it back, and that is a massive final whistle for the RAF. Look at the celebrations. Their first win in this fixture since before the pandemic. And that means, we mentioned at the start, new era of Forces football, new RAF.
Most of Victor's decoys can be deployed and inflated in minutes, minimising the time personnel are exposed.
Could this be the future of firearms training? Forces News has been given a first look at this new bit of kit. It's being described as a game changer.
Fighting in this climate adds new variables to combat situations.
If you stand up in that environment and you don't have protective gear on, you'll die.
This has led to the UK's first military-backed drone degree.
We have got so many lessons from Ukraine. What we need to do is to integrate those lessons into our Army, Navy and Air Force.
There's an ongoing battle for supremacy in the Atlantic.
Defending the Atlantic bastion is exceptionally difficult.
British company Wind Racers has allowed us into their new production facility where the unmanned aircraft system is put together.
So this is the Wind Racers Ultra Mark II.
Is he expecting an impact?
Pilots might decide to adopt the brace position as shown. If for any reason the door is blocked, he can then eject the window.
Yes, good ladies. Whatever cross comes, we're getting someone on to go to goal. Let's go, higher, make a defend. Higher, yeah, make a defend.
I like to start off either with a fun activator just to get the mindsets going. Today I use differential training, so utilising different size footballs. And what it does is it engages the concentration on the girls. So obviously there's different variables in there. So with the smaller balls, the lighter, you've got to concentrate a lot more. Moving on to then passing. And again, it just hones in on the technique a little bit because getting used to size 5 balls, you kind of get, it's repetitive. Something I picked up from, I think it was Thomas Tuchel actually, integrated it into Chelsea, and I've seen a few sessions on that, and so I thought I'll give that a go, and they've recepted to it really well, so it's something I try and implement every now and then. So the main event today, what we were going to look at is the defensive, we've split up into 2, defensive and the attacking phases. So we have 2 coaches with either units. We're just honing in at the details and what our movements should be, what the decision-making processes are. When it comes to the attacking side of it, what our combinations are in wide channels, in central channels, who we're linking with who, what's expected, how we can create space and stuff like that. So that's, like I said, moving more towards the tactical side element of the game, and we like to break it down into units and then after that bring it together so then we can put it into play what we've just been doing individually.
You've got to do the movement to get on the ball, the double movement, bump them off. Carl spoke about that. Being aggressive, ladies, okay? If I'm there, if I want to make some space in the middle of the park, someone's tracking me, I'm moving around, double movement, okay, and then boof, there, and then I'm on the ball. Well, I can get my yard, and then we could throw it that way, or look at Pip. Look at the space for them both.
We've become very ball attracted, and what we're trying to get the girls to focus on is space, and creating by moving away, and certain positions moving away create space for others to go into, and where we want to play the ball, where we just want to manipulate the opposition to then allow us to move our passing combinations, creating the space in the central areas and the wide channels. So by movements of other players, that creates the space that we want to exploit.
Just remembering, obviously that's actually your person, you're just half and half covering in case they be inside. It's you that then come out, and then it's you that then go half and half. If I shout 4, then we readjust. Okay?
Organisation and the defensive principles, so how we press, how we cover, how we give the balance to it, our movements, what we're looking at doing, but also how we can, in the movements of the unit, how we can manipulate the attack to go where we want them to go. So for instance, if we want to push them out wide because they've got a right-footed player on the left side of the field, they're also going to always look to come inside. So how can we manipulate the defence and our press, in our cover, in our balance, to make sure that we're pushing the way they don't want to go. One of the big themes for the defensive side is identifying what's in front of you. So don't just go through the defensive principles of just putting pressure on. How are we putting pressure on? What's my body shape? What's my body angle? Am I going full press? Am I coming half press? Stuff like that. So again, it's understanding the defensive principles and how they can implement that to manipulate the opposition to where they want it, and where we as a team want to put the opposition.
So you've got to think your running is in there. So as that's coming across, just go in between this, you should be in the centre halves. As that comes across, we waited there, okay? So we want to go in there. So as that comes across, I nod it in there and you're in. You've got to think, in between the posts, danger area, that's where you're going to be, okay?
Intelligent players, that's what we're trying to create, intelligent players that can read the game. That's what we want, is we want them to recognise. So it's not about being prescriptive. So we're trying to create intelligent players, improve their game knowledge, but also improve the player themselves, because that's what we want to try and do, is improve the player. That's what we're here for. Yes, the IS is a tick in the box, and it's confirmation that we have continued improving, but we want to get players in at high-level clubs and get them improving in civilian football as well. So we're very much trying to improve the player, improve their knowledge, their game knowledge, become intelligent.
Floated in, and it's headed into the net very, very early on. What a stop.
You can see he had the ability to do something special, and that is special.
Suddenly the game has come to life.
Welcome back to Oswestry then for live inter-services under-23 football, and a change is afoot at the break. The Army making a pretty important change. Off comes number 1, Will Palmer. On comes number 12, Ben Griffiths. A change in goal for Keith Emerson's team. So the Ben Griffiths fan club, who was our first comment today on YouTube, will be pleased. But that's a massive change to have to make for any team to change a goalkeeper. So the Army were out earlier. They were ready to go, and I think for the most part in that first half, Keith Emerson will be pretty pleased with the work his Army team have done.
Does he not have to come on from the sideline?
Well, that's a good question. I think he thought he did. I'm not sure exactly how they're going to do it at this point. I think they're going to let him go. It's fine. It's a little confusing for the officials though, because obviously when the head injury did happen for Will Palmer, he took on the number 12 shirt. Ben Griffiths now comes on wearing the number 12 shirt.
So the question is, how many number 12 shirts do the Army have?
And How many sparkling white gloves do they have as well? So, Army change, and I don't see any changes for the RAF. George McCowie has a new bandage on, not a bigger one, not a Terry Butcher, but a bigger bandage.
I'm not even sure that's a bandage, that might just be a plaster.
Yeah, I wonder where this is going. Lofted, Staunton looking to win it, couldn't win it. Good defending from the Army. Now Buster Reed brings in Ben England, but the touch was loose.
It is a shame to announce that after 135 minutes of inter-services football, Jake Staunton has lost a header.
Feels a little bit Elvis has left the building, that. Bobby London. And Rio Ward has switched to the opposite side of the centre-back partnership, by the way.
I did wonder whether that was just for the kick-off, because Ryan Mulligan was playing the long ball, but they haven't swapped back.
Well, maybe the midfielder in him will be more comfortable in those ball positions. That's a good chance to bring it forward, but well defended once again by McCallum, who's looked solid in that right back position. Here's Alfie Watts for the Army. A strong challenge in there by, I think that's our substitute, Dylan Sadler. And there has been a bit of a twist at half time by the RAF and by Tom Richardson, because as you can see, as the man chasing the ball now, number 4, the captain Jake Staunton, has switched from that defensive midfield role into the number 10 role, with Dylan Sadler dropping in as the defensive midfielder. So changes that had to be made thanks to the injury in particular, but it might see Staunton in a more advanced role.
Yeah, I think that is where he played last year, to be fair, in that 10 role, so I don't think it's a role that's alien to him.
Dave McNally said, good decision from Keith Emerson, change the goalkeeper, player welfare is paramount. Absolutely. And Tommy Lee Kemp says, you don't have to come on from the sideline because it happened at half time. There we go.
Scott McCallum very good again there.
RAF throw then, and McCallum will be over it. Apologies if you heard a bit of language there from Rio Ward, but the passion he's trying to get into his team. The RAF do look a little quiet. And it's hard really, isn't it, as a team that played so well last week, came into this brimming with confidence, and that first half didn't necessarily go against them, but there have been a few moments, injuries and some tackles that hasn't really gone their way, and you've lost a centre-back who's such a key part of your team. Now's the time they need to raise it again.
Yeah, like I said, it's that stick or twist situation where do you keep going and keep the game 0-0 and hope you can nick something towards the end, or do you give it a real go early?
Howe looking to win it. Did Staunton push? He didn't, and has played on, and the flag's got up.
I'm not sure about that. George McCowie looked onside for me from here.
I said it last week against Havant. There was a similar decision that looked tight. He's so quick that it's so hard to tell from the naked eye. And now I'm not saying we need VAR in Forces football, but it is very difficult to make those calls. You have to back the Navy officials there. That's long and away from that. So there is a wind, isn't there, coming from the top side of the pitch to the near side from where your camera is. Into the feet of Reedy. Didn't keep hold of it, and there was a frustrated shout from Emerson on the sideline there to hold to the ball. He knows Buster Reed can do it, but frustrating when he doesn't. The first long kick then for the substitute goalkeeper.
Good kick as well. It's flown.
And it's into the hands of Laycock, or the feet of Laycock. Switches the ball. And McCallum. Looking for Calverley. A really smart turn by the RAF number 7. They'll keep it alive. With McCallum now wide for Staunton, who's going to have to really stretch to get there. He keeps it in. Staunton's cross. Chance at the back post for McCowie, and he's not got the header right. That's a big chance for the RAF.
Yeah, very good there from Cal Calverley on the outside. I thought maybe he could have been pulled back for a free kick, but we created the chance anyway. Jake Staunton did very well to get a delivery in after keeping the ball in play.
I just wonder if McCowie should have just showed a little bit more composure there to attack it with a volley perhaps, because he seemed to stoop to win a header, and the header did not have the power he was looking for. Great interception there, and a strong challenge too. Good challenge though.
Yeah, the RAF midfield caught a little bit high there.
The RAF a little bit more aggressive in the second half. That'll please Tom Richardson. The free kick might not though. I would imagine a few words have been said in that Air Force dressing room just to speed things up on the press, to not allow the Army to play their game. The Army have been excellent on the press. Why shouldn't the RAF try and replicate at times? Free kick then. Rory England into the penalty area, and it was well defended, really well defended actually, by, I believe it was Ryan Mulligan.
I think that might have been Bobby London actually.
Yep. Maxwell takes it down on the chest. Holds off the defensive challenge. Really good strength from Maxwell into the penalty area. It's bounced into the hands of Matthew Laycock. And he doesn't get that kick right at all. It gets caught in the wind, bounces, but can Krista keep hold of it? Good, smart play by Krista. There was a late challenge in there. And
how high is that, by the way?
Starting to boil over. Rio Ward, I think, felt similar to how you did, that it was not needed as a challenge.
Very, very high. Similar to that one on the goalkeeper in the first half. Looks like it's going to go unpunished again.
And it's still boiling over a little bit on the halfway line. That's Angus Heritage sharing a few words with McCowie, and they go face to face as well, and eventually Killy Caslan goes over to break it up. It is tense right now. It is very tense. Young players chirping away at times.
This did happen in the Navy game as well, didn't it? There was a period during that game where similar happened.
And the referee just calls Heritage over and gives him a word. I think the challenge was high, and the afters won't have helped, but it looks like he will escape a booking here. And he's just going to call over Declan Howe, and I think it was Declan Howe involved in all of the... yeah, you're looking at me a bit confused there, because somehow the RAF have come away with it, with more bookings than the Army in that situation. Yeah, but yeah, okay. Rio Ward taking the booking in there, and I think it was the substitute Dylan Sadler as well also got booked. We'll keep an eye on that. That could be important by the end of this game.
Raul Krista did very well though there, just to get his body in and win that free kick, I must admit.
Well, Laycock sends it into the penalty area. The RAF looking for a potentially title-winning goal. McCowie's in behind, and is that a penalty?
Has to be a penalty. He's cleaned him out.
Well, the referee says no. And frustration on the RAF bench. McCowie got there first, and Ben Griffiths certainly seemed to collide with McCowie. I didn't feel like he took the ball. Now, whether the referee felt that McCowie had no advantage from it, it may be the only reason he didn't give the penalty.
That is a very, very dubious call.
Well, the Army come away with it. And they'll look to take advantage of the RAF frustration if they switch off. Here's Heritage. McCowie does well. And the RAF now with the bit between their teeth with Bobby London.
Yeah, the RAF have really livened up so far in this second half. It's good to see, much more positive.
And that's one for Buster Reid to chase. Rio Wood with him too. And Buster Reid will throw his body into it, but it will be a goal kick.
Great defending there from Rio Ward. Just get your body in and see it out.
How physical it can be in every 50-50 in every challenge. Neither side leaving anything on that field. What a spin by England. Looking for Jones. And Jones slides inside. Chance for the Army. Great save by Laycock. Stood tall.
Yeah, Laycock, he does that very, very well. He did it in the Navy game and he's done it once already in this game. Just spreads himself, makes himself as big as possible and saves that one-on-one. But great chance for the Army.
Excellent play from two of the most dangerous Army players, really. England on the halfway line, spinning, finding the ball. And we mentioned in that first half how Kobe Jones just has a bit about him, taking on a player and twisting and turning. He did it there, but the finish was denied. Still goalless.
Yeah, I think you were saying about Raul Christen, maybe not the natural fullback in him. He's just got to stand his ground there and not let the player turn.
And that might be... Well, I thought it might have been a handball. It is a handball, but it's considered outside the penalty area. So it's going to be an Army free kick right on the edge. It was Buster Reed against, I think, Rio Ward, it might have been. In fact, it might have been Dylan Sadler, the substitute.
Yeah, I don't really know what he's doing there. His hand's very high. He's almost saved it as it's coming into the box and right on the edge.
Look how close it is as well. Good work by Aidan Madden and his officials on the side, either Floyd Francis or Joe Moore, to figure that out, because from our position he looked well into the penalty area. Clearly wasn't, but an Army free kick.
This is a massive chance as well. You see Alfie Rogers lurking at the back post. I'm sure he'll be the target here.
What have they got up their sleeve, the champions? It's Alfie Watts to take. Watts low ball in, it just bounces around, Reed's in there, the RAF clear.
Rio Ward has been excellent since going into centre half. He's cleared that ball again really well.
Well, seeing as you changed the notes to midfielder, I think we may have to change it back. Clearly, there's a defender in there.
There's no games after this.
Here's Jones. Kili Kazlan on his back, and the Army spin it away, and have just managed to get a bit of dominance on the field in terms of positioning. And that's a good ball wide. Brought down well, offside. It's a strong tackle in there by McCallum, a good one as well.
McCallum's been excellent so far today. Definitely one of the RAF standout players. Against one of the stronger Army players as well, I would say.
Physically as well. Physically, definitely.
Yeah, the Army lad is about double his size.
Alfie Rogers couldn't win that header, but it will fall the Army's way anyway. And England flicks it on.
Very composed from Cal Calverley there, just to retain possession.
And it's sent wide towards McCowie, who's come over from the left to the right, but he couldn't get anywhere near that.
Yeah, I don't think he'd have got that if you'd have given him some stilts.
Emma Staunton on YouTube, family member of RAF captain Jake Staunton, clearly felt that the RAF should have had a penalty earlier.
I don't disagree.
And we know that these championships can be decided on moments like this. There was a championship decided by a last-minute penalty at this level just a few years ago that certainly was contentious across both sides. But our officials put themselves in the firing line with these players, that's for sure. They're trained to be the best that they can be, and we have to support them. We do support them.
Yeah, absolutely. The referee's got a better view than I have up here.
Wide now to Angus Heritage. Kobe Jones looking for Heritage again. McCarry turned his back, was nowhere near it, and it's pulled back towards Buster Reed. Really good defending once again by Mulligan.
Superb from Ryan Mulligan there.
Now Staunton trying to get hold of it in midfield, and that'll be a foul by England.
Jake Staunton's so strong there, done really, really well with 3 Army bodies around him just to win that free kick.
Temperature's just rising a little bit here on the field. It's just bubbling. There is certainly a lot on the line, we know that, but we spoke at the start of the tournament in Havant that there were a lot of players that have never experienced inter-services football. They know all about it now, and there's going to be a change for the RAF, and this is a surprising one too. Jake Staunton, the RAF captain, comes off and will be replaced by Harry Burwood.
I wonder whether Jake Staunton's struggling slightly. He's coming off very gingerly, isn't he?
Yeah, he does look like he's potentially struggling, and the match winner last week against the Navy, Rio Ward, takes the captain's armband, and Burwood comes on, and I think Burwood might be a centre-back. And it might mean Rio Ward moves back into the midfield. Free kick lofted in. It's flicked on, the keeper's come near it, hasn't got anywhere near it really, and the Army clear.
I actually think the keeper's done quite well there. Initially it did look like he hadn't got it, but I think he has got some palms on that to push it away.
Another big change then for the RAF.
I wonder whether Dylan Sadler's gone into the back four here. Difficult to tell, obviously, when they set up for these throw-ins.
Yeah, once the game settles into open play, we'll be able to get a real good look at how the RAF are going to line up. Long throw by Bobby London. It's allowed to bounce. Here's Rio Ward spinning. It was taken off him and deflected, and will be swept upon by Griffiths. And I just think Rio Ward didn't want his centre back Ryan Mulligan to take it off him. In fact, Rio Ward has continued at the back, as has Mulligan. So
yeah, Ryan Mulligan loves a tackle so much there. He's tackled Rio Ward in the opposition box.
So Harry Burwood settles into the midfield. Ball forward for the Army, and Rory England's going to get there, is he? He's not. It's going to be a goal kick.
Rio Ward, excellent again, just gets in front of him, gets his body there to shepherd it out.
Emma Staunton said that Jake Staunton's also qualified as a ref before he joined the RAF.
Be interesting to hear Jake's thoughts on that penalty call.
I know, that's information that the RAF Football Association are going to use now, I'm sure. So, still 0-0, still a title to be won if you are Air Force Blue. And if you're the Army, well, you do want to set yourself up the best way going into that game against the Navy next week.
Matt Laycock just needs to settle down a little bit. I'm not sure he needs to take that first time, and it's just gone up rather than out.
And it just shows how competitive these inter-services games can be. We knew the Army was going to be a real test for the RAF, we knew that, but it's been a totally different game than last week at Havant, where we saw two very open defences, back and forth, back and forth. This has been much more of a chess match in a lot of ways. Tactically, the Army have been solid. The RAF have had to change things. The Army have changed things in response. It's been a real battle. No goals yet. Sent forward to Kili Kazlan. Rogers eventually went. That was late by the substitute. Referee says play on. The Army come forward. And Buster Reed looking to get in there. Really good, strong challenge by Mulligan. And you know what? I want to give full credit to the centre back because he took control of that situation now and got it away for the RAF. Here's McCallum on to Calverley. Sorry, London into Kili Kazlan, who's not been able to keep hold of it, and it's gone out of play as the Army have a player down on the right hand side. Heritage. It was a strong challenge.
Yeah, a strong one. It's probably on the edge there. He has caught him quite high, but Army complaints about the RAF not putting the ball out, but they had possession at the time, so if you're not going to put it out yourself, we're not going to put it out for you.
Do wonder if it was just a bit of Harry Burwood not quite up to the speed of the game as well. He's been very quick with those 50-50s. A word for Ramsey Kili Kazlan. Once again, he feels a bit like a frustrated figure. He hasn't really been able to impact the game that he would like, and I think has the potential to do. Is he perhaps just trying a little too hard at times and not doing the simple things?
Yeah, I mean, we talked off air again about that role as a lone striker in the three, and it is a very difficult job playing against two very competent centre-backs for the Army. But I do back him. I've seen his finishing, and if he gets a chance, I expect him to nestle it in the net.
Right, he'll be disappointed that he didn't get a goal. Of course, he had that one cleared off the line in the first half by Alfie Rogers. That's sent forward, and in fact, shot on target. Yeah,
I was going to say the same.
Well, easy though for Griffiths. And now Angus Heritage, who's managed to keep McCowie quiet. England.
He's had a very good game as well, very composed in possession, just keeps it ticking for the Army in there.
The number of midfielders and defenders in particular on this pitch on both sides that have had good games. We're just waiting for a finishing touch. Saunderson brings it forward. Now Ben England, really smart ball through. Rashane Maxwell couldn't keep it in though.
Just a little bit heavy there.
Great idea. RAF get it away quickly with Scott McCallum. And McCallum looks for Kili Kazlan, but it's immediately cut out by the Army once again. He's not managing to get those 50-50s going in the RAF's favour.
He's got so many bodies around him when that ball's fired into him. It's a very, very difficult job.
Here's Rogers. England and the Army spreading it about nicely now. Looking back towards England or Buster Reed, but it's cut away, and maybe a chance on the break now for the RAF. That's the smart ball, actually. McCowie into the penalty area. What can the RAF do here? McCowie's ball in, maybe a chance, and Alfie Rogers is the right man at the right time for the Army.
That's superb defending from Alfie Rogers, but George McCowie there, speed and light, flies down the outside to get the ball in the box.
Now Calverley leaves England on the floor, and that's a loose pass, but McCowie is going to get there, isn't he? Oh, you bet he is, but he's offside.
I thought he'd given a foul there.
The RAF have not managed to get McCowie in those dangerous positions enough in this game, but when he does get there, they've got to take advantage, haven't they? I mean, brilliant defending by Rogers.
Yeah, it happened a couple of times in the latter stages against the Navy where he got down the wing and cut a ball across the box, and there was just no one in sky blue there ready to finish it. I do wonder whether he could perhaps drive into the box and get a shot off himself at times.
Griffiths sends it forward then, looking towards Buster Reed. Rio Ward challenging 2. London wins the header, and Mulligan really calm and composed.
Ryan Mulligan absolutely superb in possession.
Calverley, he's going to drive inside and look to slide it through. The pass was not as intended though. Really difficult pass to pull off. Now the Army look to break into the space. Watts asking a little bit too much there of Maxwell.
Good from McCallum again.
A game of fine margins where the final ball isn't quite up to what was needed. Throw in then, Maxwell. Holding off the challenge and driving into the penalty area. Deflected cross, cleared, not really. Watts can't keep it in. Ball is just deflecting away from any control at the moment.
I wonder whether Bobby London might take this throw. There we go.
Yeah. That's been flicked on.
I thought McCowie was in there if he could have just slid him in with that first touch, Dylan Sadler.
Not quite sure he saw it, Sadler, but McCowie lets him know that he will be there next time. And it is an Army throw.
McCowie just drifting from side to side as he looks to get into game and have a real impact.
Space for England.
He's so good on the ball.
I do wonder if it's a player that the Army senior team might be looking at for next month's senior inter-services. Rio Ward it's cleared away, but the Army come forward now with Rory England.
Just stand up, no need to foul him there.
Heritage, sorry, that's Jones. Jones's shot. Well, it's a game that fine margins, as we say, and maybe something special is what's needed. Not too far away there by Kobe Jones.
I think Matt Laycock had it covered.
Yeah, I mean, I'll be honest, that one would have been a save for the cameras if it helps. I'll give you that one.
The Army pressing very high here from these goal kicks, forcing Laycock to go long, which is exactly what they want. I do wonder if the RAF can play out a little bit more and use that overload in midfield.
Well, they've got the fresher legs in midfield. Substitutes have decided that. It's up towards Calverley, headed away by Watts, but it'll be an RAF throw.
The tempo of the game's definitely picked up in this second half.
Now McCallum gets it down the line, and Kozlu is there, and that's a foul on Rogers.
That's a really silly foul, and I think Rio Ward's making that point. McCallum's done so well to find a pass down the line, and there's two RAF bodies there that just easily foul the Army player. It's just an easy way out.
Now, yes, Alfie Rogers is a big man, and I'm not saying that he took a dive at all, but he felt that contact, and there was only one way that was going. Smart defending. Nicola White says, come on the Army. And with time starting to tick, as we're into the final 20 minutes of normal time.
Rio Ward really is a good talker, I've noticed, since he's got that captain's armband. He's the one you can hear on the pitch.
Good ball to Maxwell, but he's offside.
Looks to be getting frustrated, Maxwell, now as well. He's not really got the better of McCallum, who's had a very good game.
And credit to the RAF defence, by the way. Even disjointed, even with changes. That's a good ball forward. What a touch by McCowie that was. And was he dragged back? The RAF felt so. Referee says play on.
McCowie almost took too good a touch there. He's brought it away from the goal.
That's a good tackle. Army wanted a free kick. They won't get it. And here's Bobby London.
Yeah, McCowie almost wanted to let that run a little bit longer so he could use that pace to get in behind.
Krista. It's into the penalty area. And the keeper's come. And, well, there was a little nudge by Kili Kazlan. I'm not entirely sure there was a whole lot in it.
I think it was offside. I think Lino's got his flag up.
That will be why then.
Not sure it was there though. Good ball into the box by Krista though. Caused a lot of problems. I think that is definitely a route for the RAF to get some joy, is to keep whipping those balls on the keeper.
Shout from the Army bench from Keith Emerson, not to force this, keep the ball. The Army, bit of possession to quieten the RAF down, who have just started to roar a little bit in the last few minutes. Here's Rory England, deeper than we've seen him. But that's what he can do. What a pass that is. Just too high for Maxwell, but would have been an excellent pass. And now Rio Ward, who may not have expected to be the story of the RAF inter-services, but he's certainly become one. Match winner against the Navy last week, and he's stepped into a role at centre-back that may not have been the original plan for him, but he's looked solid, and he's took on the captain's armband now.
Yeah, and in a real key area for the RAF as well. Like you said, it's looked unchanged almost, with the ease he slotted into that back four with.
If anything, you could argue that the problem is they miss him in the forward positions. I believe McCowie's offside here.
He must be.
He is.
I wonder whether he could have just
quick,
left that ball.
But he's not that quick.
Yeah, I wonder whether he could have just left that and let it go out for an Army throw-in in the corner and force the RAF up the pitch.
The game is there to win. The title is there to win if you're the RAF. But we're approaching that point in the game where I'm going to say, is a point a bad result for either of these teams?
I think from an RAF perspective, you always want to keep it in your own hands, wouldn't you? You don't really want to be going into the final game where you're not playing, hoping for a result. I think you want to get it done while you're on the pitch as much as you can.
And it should be said that the 1-0 win for the RAF over the Navy last week is just a 1-goal advantage. That doesn't help them when we get talking about goal difference or goals scored. A 0-0 here probably doesn't help those. Doesn't put them in pole position. It certainly puts the Army back in pole position at that point. It also takes the Navy out of the competition. Great run from Krista. Army charge it down. Now Jones. Needed to have played the ball through to England quicker. Instead he looked for Reed, and it was a bit forced actually. Now McCowie. Off he goes. Into the penalty area now McCowie. Looking for an option, deflected and into the hands of Griffiths. And when he gets the ball and he gets going, you just don't know what's going to happen.
Yeah, he's definitely the bright spark for the RAF. If you see a goal come in, you think it's probably going to come down that left-hand side.
Heritage asked a lot of, but manages to get there. Now Ben England.
Those runs do seem to take a little bit out of McCowie though.
Yeah, he's given everything over the 2 games. Looked like he was struggling towards the end of the game at Havant too.
He's one of those players that you have to keep on the pitch though, just for what he can do in a split second, change the game. You need game changers on the pitch at this time.
But There is an argument that Lamborghinis aren't made for cross-country, are they? Army player down injured, just having a little bit of cramp, I think, in the midfield. It's Rory England, I believe.
And he's a player they'll definitely want to keep on the pitch.
Keith Emerson will be pleased with the performance, I think, so far for the Army. They've managed to stifle any RAF threat. They've also managed to sort of get control of the game in the midfield at times. There's going to be another change here, and it's another RAF change, and it looks like another injury. Scott McCallum's coming off.
That's a real concern, because Scott McCallum has been absolutely excellent today.
On
And another change in the back four.
Yeah, back four that's been changed a number of times already now. Maddox Morris comes in at right back. Here's Ben England. Howe sends it forward. Well, at this stage of the game, I wouldn't say Tom Richardson's got the team out that he would like out there. A chance for the substitutes to make a name for themselves.
Absolutely, this is why you have a squad. You're going to need all of them over the competition, so it's really important that those players come on and prove a point now.
Now here's a few of them in the midfield looking to work together, but it's well defended by Watts and sent forward by Rogers. Buster Reed has been a bit of an isolated figure at times in the second half.
Yeah, he's showed some nice touches, but I think that speaks to how well the RAF have defended, and the same for the Army defending the RAF. Defence has definitely been on top in this one.
Sent forward to McCowie. London makes a burst forward. Here he is now, Bobby London. And Rogers, sorry, not Rogers, Saunderson's gone over. And the Army win the ball. What can they do here? It's a good run from Reed, but he wasn't seen.
Looks to be some very tired legs now on both teams.
And that's a tired pass, isn't it? Calverley intercepts an equally tired prod forward. Wins it back now, Calverley. And he will bring it forward. Cuts back now. Morris. Calverley again. Now Maddox, a substitute, does well.
Looks composed, yeah, well played RAF there, just to keep the ball, come out of a tight area and go out the other side.
Does look composed, but equally, interestingly, looks left-footed at right back. Ball in towards Killy Kazlan. He won the flick.
Yeah, did well. Beat Alfie Rogers in the air. That's no mean feat.
Maxwell underneath it. And he's not going to keep that in.
He's done excellently there, to be fair.
Approaching 10 minutes to go, Neely, in this middle game of an Inter-Services Championship. And we are just in a position where it's waiting for a player to take this by the scruff of the neck and win it for their service.
George McCowie's onto it again.
Onto it. He's a player that could win it for his service. He's taken it to the byline and he's won a corner, from Alfie Heritage.
Done very well, and that's exactly what I'm speaking about. Can he take his fullback on and really drive into the box, and then you're asking questions of the Army defence. Don't let them off the hook with a loose ball.
The sun is just peering in over the trees.
Yeah, we are being dazzled over here.
Just a shot of blue in the sky.
Not going to complain about seeing the sun though.
Is this a sign for the RAF from the corner?
Has to deliver. Hang it on that keeper and ask a question.
I think it's Morris to take.
Very hard.
Lofted. He's got a bounce, and the Army are favourites to clear here, and Kilikoglu is going to let that go.
Should be an RAF throw.
It is indeed.
Is Bobby London going across to take, or?
It'd be Harry Burwood, I think, to take it. No. Yeah, Bobby London comes spiralling over. He's actually been much more impactful in this second game, Bobby London. Army change, by the way. Rory England goes off. He's been very good, but hasn't found the breakthrough. And on comes Jack Allen.
Yeah, he did look to be struggling, didn't he, Rory England? But he, another one who deserves a mention, has had a fantastic game.
Bobby London's throw in. Headed away. The RAF looking to keep it alive with Calverley, but it'll go all the way to Christa.
Deliver.
Krista does deliver
That's the one.
into the penalty area. Headed over the bar by Mulligan.
Unlucky there from Ryan Mulligan, but that definitely looks to be a route, those long walls into the box, and Ryan Mulligan has been very dominant in the air today, just couldn't get it down.
Just wonder if Rory England coming off is a sign of the fact that this is the start of the Army's tournament, not the end like the RAF. They've got a game next week that's just as important as this one for them. And they'll need Rory England firing. Here's Tom Saunderson into Declan Howe, deflected and up in the air and wasn't able to bring it down, McCowan.
Skidded off the surface there.
Here's Ben England, missing his brother now. That's a really smart ball by Rogers, really good ball playing defending. And now Buster Reed darts into the penalty area, but the touch was loose and Rio Ward was given the chance to win the tackle, and he's won a goal kick too.
Rio Ward absolutely excellent there. Buster Reed took a good touch, but a fantastic tackle and has won the goal kick.
I think Buster Reed will be slightly disappointed with this touch actually. I wonder if that's where he hasn't really been involved in the second half as much as the Army would like. He looked a little bit rusty, if anything.
Yeah, but very much like the RAF number 9, he's looked an isolated figure at times playing up front on his own.
Maybe an RAF throw.
I wonder whether this is a result of the artificial surface, but we have seen a lot of players down on their haunches, little injuries, and I'd imagine they're muscular.
It's difficult to say, isn't it, as Alfie Watts looks to be getting some treatment, because haven't similarly an artificial surface, and there wasn't the same amount of injuries, it feels like. But I would say this game has been physical, very physical, and players starting to show their wounds.
Yeah, I mean, that said, if this was on grass, we wouldn't be playing.
Yeah, we're very fortunate that a number of clubs allow our Forces football onto their surfaces.
Absolutely.
We mentioned about the physicality, and actually the Army are going to lose a player here. Alfie Watts has been, well, the sign has gone up, there's going to be a change. I can see that Luke Page is about to come on for the Army, and off goes Alfie Watts.
One thing you can say for the players on both teams is they've all absolutely given everything today, and you can see that.
So Luke Page goes into the centre-back position. Goes into the right-back position, meaning Angus Heritage comes over from right-back to left-back for the final part of this game. Here's Maddox Morris, sorry.
Ooh, Ryan Mulligan done very well there. That's a foul.
Oh, great turn from Morris.
Oh, fantastic.
Rio Ward just caught short, and now the Army looking to break, and a chance for the shot. Great save by Laycock.
Yeah, stung the palms there, but a very good save from Buster Reed.
Just felt for a moment that a mistake might decide it, and that was the Army's opportunity to do that. Ball in. Maxwell will chase it down. The flag has gone up. And in fact, I mean, I know they have their communications in their ear, but the referee whistled before the flag had even gone up there.
Yeah, absolutely. I do wonder whether we might see Rio Ward stray further forward as we reach the dying embers of the game if the RAF are looking for a goal.
Just wonder what more dices the RAF have got to roll. Morris looking to keep hold of it in the midfield. That's a late challenge by Jones on Harry Burwood.
He's made sure he's won that foul as well. It's gone down rather theatrically indeed. I wonder whether we might see Matt Laycock stray into the opposition half as we reach the final stages as well. I'm sure he's got a goal in him somewhere.
Well, it's Krista over this free kick. The RAF looking for a title-winning moment. Lofted into the penalty area. Rogers heads away. Sorry, it was Howe who headed away. And the Army looking to be the biggest party spoilers. Looking to start their title challenge and defence in a way. Off to a good start, they win a corner. We're into the final 5 minutes or so here.
Yeah, I would have thought there'll be another sort of 3 or 4 at least added on at the end of this. There's been a lot of substitutions.
Army corner. The champions in their first game of 2026.
It's a great ball
the
in.
Back post. It was towards Rogers. That will be another corner.
And for what he hasn't done in attack today and has been looked very isolated, he's done very, very well at the back post there to head that past Alfie Rogers.
Absolutely. So Army corner again. This time Ben England will go over to take it. He's taken on the set piece duties from his brother.
Outswinger this time by the looks of things.
Rogers at the back post again. It's towards him, headed away by the RAF centre back, and the shot from some distance.
Or pass?
Well, yeah. Not up to the standard needed. Army change, and a bit of a telling one actually. Buster Reed has not had the run of the mill. He comes off, and Keith Emerson throws something at it, and that something is Harry Morrell.
I think that's a massive compliment to the RAF defence that the Army are taking Buster Reed off at this stage, and the job they've done on him today.
And a bit of a rejig as Rashane Maxwell goes up front. Kobe Jones moves to the left-hand side, and Harry Morrell moves to the right.
Looking to find George McCowie, I think, there.
And Morrell does well immediately. In fact, I think the Army have gone to a 4-4-2. See, Jack Allen seems to be in a forward position. Here's Maxwell, flicks it on to Allen. Looking to return it to Maxwell, who's going to get there. Chance for the Army here with Maxwell, good block. And if we wondered if the Army would go for it, it looks like they are. Really great run from England, pulls it all the way back. Chance for Jones.
Massive chance there.
Can't hit the target, he was always stretching, always slightly off balance.
You've got to think he's got to make Matt Laycock in the RAF goal make a save there from inside the box.
Another sign of, if we're wondering whether either the Army or the RAF will want to win the game, the ball pounded back into the pitch to get it back underway as quick as possible from the coaches' benches.
Great strike from Matt Laycock there.
Great header though by Howe. Jones flicks it on. He's had the best chances in this second half. That's going to be a foul on Rogers.
That's one way to stop him heading the ball.
Here's Saunderson. Relaxes the call. Here's the substitute now, Morrell. And that was why Keith Emerson was saying relax and don't force it, because they give the ball away. That's no foul. Army come forward with Jones. And Jones looking for Maxwell. Good play to release Angus Heritage. And he's going to go on the left. Left-footed ball in's good. Chance for the Army. Flicked on. Now Morrell. And England hits it.
Great block. Christer, I think that was.
We thought the RAF might be the team that are pushing in the final few moments. It's the Army who are finding something in the locker. England again. Sorry, it's Morrell. Maxwell looking to shape to shoot. England. It's going to go wide right. Ball in.
That's gone.
It's overhit by Luke Page.
The RAF are starting to look tired now in these final stages. I wonder whether they can just muster one final push and nick that goal. Looks like George McCowie's come across to the right.
I think there's going to be an RAF change. It's going to be Kieran Downs coming on. And it's Bobby London, I think, coming off.
Yeah, he's given everything and done very well as well on a yellow card in there. Makes it difficult, but has done excellently in the midfield. Worked his socks off.
Laycock with the kick then. time ticking if the RAF are going to win it themselves today. Sends it forward, the goalkeeper. Kili Kazlan looking to win the header, but it bounces the way of Jones, who's just starting to get the ball fall his way. Sent forward to Jack Allen, and Jack Allen's burst through, no foul. Allen, chance for the Army. Oh, Jones mishit it. England. And the flag's gone up against Rashane Maxwell, I think, so I don't think it would have counted anyway. Shane Maxwell's looked a little bit more comfortable in that centre forward position, linking things together.
Yeah, he's a real physical presence, isn't he? He just gives you a little bit of a different dynamic. Towering header from Alfie Rogers there.
Harry Morrell looking to cause a problem. Krista sends it clear.
Yeah, he's done very well there to win himself a throw-in.
We are into added time. We didn't get a word of how many minutes that's going to be. So the tension rises again. 12 months ago, the Army won the championship thanks to a very, very late goal against the RAF. In 2026, the opportunity is there for the tables to turn. Army throw though.
Still no sign of that added time.
Long ball in. And cleared by Krista. Saunderson. Good feet from the centre back. Great challenge in there by Morris, who's grown into his role since coming off the bench. Sending it forward, asking a lot of McCarry, who's going to chase it anyway. Rogers under pressure.
He is so quick.
Header inside, it only falls to a red shirt.
Maddox Morris has got to get to the ball there.
Got to attack the ball, did that. RAF concede the throw.
Some protests, but I do think Cal Calverley nicked that one out. Free kick?
It's in fact a free kick. Not sure on that one. Angus Heritage is going to send this into the penalty area. A chance for Rogers to come forward then. A chance for the Army to win their first game of the 26 tournament. Ball in.
Great header. Who's that? Was that Ryan Mulligan again?
Army underneath it though. He's done very well. He's going to take a shot from some range, and the lack of composure once again, this time from Jack Allen. Did the hard bit. In some ways, this has been a very typical middle game of a three-match tournament.
Yeah, absolutely.
As it stands, one thing we will know is that the Royal Navy will not win the 2026 championship if it stays like this.
They could still have a big say though, of course.
They absolutely could. Ball forward by England. Jones' chance to bring
Very
it down,
good.
but Maddox is
Morris.
better. Maddox Morris. Throw then, inside. Poor touch by Burwood, he gets hold of it in the second attempt. Jones back at him though. Calverley. Ball towards McCowie.
Here we go, George McCowie.
And he's going to use his pace to win a free kick, surely. Oh, it's going to be a corner. Looked like a foul from our position, but the corner's the next best for the RAF. And this is potentially the moment. Rio Ward comes forward. Brian Mulligan comes forward. If the RAF are going to win this themselves, if they're going to win it here in Oswestry, they're not going to get a better opportunity in added time than this.
I'd like to see Harry Burwood get in there. He's a big lad.
The delivery's got to be good.
And it
Ball
is.
in. It's going to be a goal kick.
It's a great connection from Ryan Mulligan again, but just can't keep it down.
And it's just gone quiet at Oswestry. And all eyes go to the Navy official. I think both sides have realised that I don't think there's going to be a way through.
Both management teams trying to keep their players going though as we enter the final stages.
Go forward by Griffiths. Howe looking to win it. Maxwell does well. And it's nodded on towards Jones, and it had to be defended by Ward, and was. The RAF living on the last bit. That's going to be an RAF throw.
Brilliant work there to push Alfie Rogers into giving a throw-in away.
Calverley.
I think they're looking around for Bobby London.
Yeah, they don't have Bobby London on the field anymore, meaning Maddox Morris gets the opportunity, and I wouldn't go as far as you think it's going to go here. And he might surprise us. He doesn't.
Oh.
And that's gone forward. Now Maxwell, really great turn.
This
Can
is
the
where you
Army
bring a
win
foul.
this?
Tactical foul.
Pretty decent ball through. I mean, it's not going to be a foul against Jack Allen, and there's not going to be a way through. It's 0-0. It ends 0-0. The title, well, it's still up for grabs. It will be one of these two teams. We know that. The Navy have no chance. They have a good chance of deciding it for one of them.
All of the players are absolutely out on their feet as well. Several players on the floor now. They've both given absolutely everything. And as 0-0s go, I think that's about as competitive a game as football as you're going to get.
And from an RAF point of view, that's even while there will be disappointment today that the championship hasn't gone into their hands today, they will be pleased with the performance over the two games. If you look at RAF performances over the last few years, particularly results at this level, it's not gone their way. Unbeaten in 2026.
Yeah, absolutely. The lads have been superb, and they can hold their heads up high and come away with this with no regrets. They've given absolutely everything, and I don't think they could have done any more today. I think writing was on the wall, but you've come away again, as you spoke earlier, Matt Laycock, 2 clean sheets. You can't really do any more than not conceding in either game. So excellent from the defences.
Well, they couldn't find a way through today. They are still in the hunt. The Army, well, they can't lose to the Navy next week. If they don't lose to the Navy next week, well, they have to beat the Navy next week, sorry. They have to beat the Navy next week. So it's all to play for, and we will have highlights of that one on our platforms.
Massive good luck to our friends at the Royal Navy next week.
Yeah.
Do us a job.
Wonder where that came from. Thank you so much for joining me. We may not have got the goals we wanted, but we got passion, we got tackles, we got everything else you expect from Forces football. And the championship rolls on into the final week. Thank you everyone for joining us, and we will be back with more Inter-Services football next month with the senior championships for the men's and women's. So keep an eye out for that. We've also got some fantastic horse racing coming up next week from Sandown with the Royal Artillery Gold Cup. A lot to keep an eye out for then. Thank you very much for joining us, and we'll see you soon.
It's floated in, and it's headed into the net very, very early on. What a start.
You can see he had the ability to do something special, and that is special.
Suddenly the game has come to life.